Good afternoon, man. I just thought I'd do a video on independent thought. No, not from some philosopher's book on independent thought. From my own experience um, at 58 years old of what I consider independent thought at this point in my life. I was going to write a script, and that every time I do a video, that fucking thing goes off. Well, it doesn't matter. I want to say that what I used to consider independent thought is now it was very dependent thought before. I don't know how else to express it. My thought, in other words, my thinking process was always dominated by another force, usually female, and usually asking me to do something for them. Which, fuck you, now that I think about it. Now that's independent thought. Questioning on a regular basis is independent thought. Not filtering the answer that you get is independent thought. But let's talk about independent thought that we used to think that we had. For instance, the freedom of speech. You have the freedom of some speech. And even at that, it's all being recorded one way or another. If you live in a city, say hello to the camera, many times a day. You're being routinely monitored, and it's not good. So what you've got to consider is that you really aren't free to do anything. Well, I mean, you could do anything you wanted as long as you're willing to pay for it. There's some independent thought for you. Sure, go rob a bank. Yeah, maybe you get away with $2,500 in usable money, and you're going to spend 25 years in jail. So you're getting paid a whole $100 a year. How about an independent thought? Fuck robbing banks. Fuck doing what people tell you. What kind of independence do we really have in this society? You grow up, maybe, you go to a government school, you're always thrown in with kids that you don't want to be with, who don't want to be with you, and it's mashed up and it's chewed up and it's spit out into junior high school or middle school, whatever the fuck they call it, where you meet even more kids who are even more confused because they don't teach your own social style. They don't teach kids who are more artsy fartsy to do things one way. I mean, they don't take anything into consideration. So we've never actually been able to have an independent thought unless it was outside the box that they tried to put us in. And so you've got to ask for a minute, when have you ever actually been free? Hmm? When? When have you been free in your life? Because your mother told you what to do, right? You stepped outside that fucking box, you got your ass paddled. Well, that was back in my day. Because if dad fucking hit you, that shit was gonna be. I mean, that was for like stealing the family car and driving through a bank and not getting the money. Yeah, then you get your fucking ass kicked. Now, I'm just talking about most kids are disciplined by their mother, and that's why so many men turn out very cruel. Because women are very cruel. They're not fair. They're cruel. However they feel at the moment is the repercussions that you're going to face. That's not right. That's not fair. And that's not the way that men operate. And if you wonder why so many, to quote a friend, say, rad cons and cucktards and ham beasts. I don't know, whatever you want to call them. Men that just will never be able to do anything but take a handful of fucking blue pills every morning. You know, these guys exist because there is no independent thought. You know, especially some of the younger guys, man. I mean, on the one hand, you all have technology. Back in the day, we had word of mouth. And so, you know, everything was pretty much regional. Now it's all pretty much global. So I could be talking to Red Pill Germany, who I really love his channel. Shout out to you, Red Pill Germany. Pretty funny guy, man. Anybody who's a physicist and can be with a woman is, hey, you're okay, man. Anyway, that's that's diversity. You don't get that back in, growing up in 1970. You know what the internet was? Um, a girl left you a note under your desk. That was the fucking internet in 1970. And by 1970, I was already 11 years old. So look, I was fed the doctrine of public education. So the only way that I could actually be independent, and that's most likely what resulted in, or resulted, no, what the rebellion that I had as a kid, I think is what we all feel. We're no special snowflakes. All kids feel rebellious, no matter what happened to you. Because after a while, you look at your parents, you go like, oh, you're full of shit, you know? They don't give you a choice. And if they do, there's always a string. So our parents are not going to help us to be great independent thinkers. If your parents were, then you're the lucky, half of 1%, because most parents just do whatever's right in front of them. And that's the way most of us were raised. In my case, back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, we had absolutely no choice over what we saw. Was you had three choices, like the BBC. You have three choices: shit, shit plus, and shit premium, and none of them have anything but shit. So you're never going to get an independent. And then you go to the government school. Who's your teacher? Oh, she's a wonderful lady. First grade, she's a wonderful lady. Second grade, she's a wonderful lady. Grade 4, she's a wonderful lady. I fucking never have. The only male influence is if you don't do what I say, I'm going to send you to the man. Like, fuck this. What is independent about that? You're going to have the fucking beehive mind, like I showed you the other day. Those fucking Africanized bees, they all swarm around you. Fuck you. And that's how it is if you're a man, growing up in this world. Whether it's 1969 or it's fucking 2009. It doesn't make any difference. It's always the same game. Kill independent thought. Crush opposition. Make everybody look stupid who you don't agree with. You know what that does? That kills ambition. That kills drive. That kills independent thought. And this, I believe, is the reason that our society as a whole is in big, big trouble, because it's not, even though you would tend to think that at this point, golly, it looks like we're going back to nationalism. Holy shit, the nationalism of today is the fucking democracy, or the Democratic Party, the Labor Party of the fucking 60s. You guys, I mean, you don't have any idea unless you look at history and really study it. You've got no idea right now that the Republican Party in the United States of America is actually worse, more liberal, more free spending, more blackmailed than the fucking Democratic Congress of the 60s and 70s, where they they absolutely ruined this country. And they kept it going and kept it going. And, the problem has been, for most of us, public school. Oh, hang on. Ugh, Guinness break. So look, the problem has been public schools because the only time you get fucking male teachers, and this is good too, except when they're perverts, is in gym class. So you got only females in the fucking class, and you got a fucking female teacher. We had, I can remember, in all fairness, in middle school, there were some male teachers, and they were fucking hard asses, man. One dude, you break a fucking ruler right in front of your, face on the desk, and if your hand got in the way, your fucking hand got the shit. I still got a scar across the top of my hand from that motherfucker. His name was Mr. Schrader. Anyway, what he did was he required me to go write a 2 paragraph essay on why I was yapping my fucking gums in the middle of his class when he was trying to teach the rest of the class. See, that's how things used to be. And so I had to go and I had to take that fucking Spanish book, open it up, and I had to go look up all the words and how you say them in the fucking order. I learned Spanish. Motherfucker, that's a male teacher. Get you to think, you know? Female teachers, oh, dude. The fucking, even in the middle school. You think it's bad now? You think this, female teachers raping 15-year-old boy, you think that's fucking new? Shit, that was going on. There was one teacher in the junior high I went to, oh my God, 7th grade. So you're like, what, 13, 14 years old maybe? This woman, Mrs. Greenberg, used to wear these low-cut dresses and then lean over your desk and then watch your eyes as your eyes. I looked at her tits because I knew you couldn't miss them after about a week. And I already knew at the tits, I was watching her eyes because she fucking watched me to see if I was looking at her tits. I mean, this is nothing new. This isn't some kind of fucking, brand new thing. This has been going on for years. These women are sick, man. But they're just a symptom of all of it. And they just express the hype. Feminism hasn't killed anything. Globalism started it all, allowing the feminist movement to go forward in the 1920s, which was fueled by the suffragism movement. So look, all of this shit doesn't just happen in overnight. This is all planned well in advance. So, there's no more conspiracy theories. Not with what the NSA discloses. There's no more conspiracy. I mean, the reason that we're sort of dumbed down, the reason we accept gynocentrism, I mean, fuck female nature. Why do we accept it? It's because there's no independent or free thought allowed outside the box. Good day, gentlemen. Good afternoon, man. I just thought I'd do a video on independent thought. No, not from some philosopher's book on independent thought. From my own experience at 58 years old of what